Sam's Cast.
Sam's Cast.
Sam's Cast. Sam's Cast.
What an exciting way to start a Friday. I can't wait to see the students arriving on the buses. Sam's Cast.
Good afternoon, this is Ellen Nugent here, and I'm from Shanghai American School, and we're talking today to Foong Ho, our visiting author for the middle school for the 2006-2007 school year. Welcome, Foong.
Thank you so much, Ellen.
Can you tell us a little bit about your first book, Sing to the Dawn? What was your inspiration for that book and for the characters in your book?
Well, Sing to the Dawn was my first book, and I wrote it when I was very, very homesick, when I was a student in Cornell during the winter time. And one of the reasons that I wanted to write was to figure out a way to sort of get back home without having to explain too much to other people what it was like. So I basically created a setting where I felt comfortable, which reminded me of home, and I created some characters that I put into the setting to make me feel less homesick.
So were any of the characters in Sing to the Dawn based on real people?
I think so. I mean, I think in some way the main character was sort of like me, and the brother to that main character was a bit like my brother. But it's really hard to say what part was real and what part was invented. I think of this image of somebody weaving at the loom, and you know how when you're weaving you have the strings that are tied and fixed vertically, the warp, and you also have a string that's tied to the shuttle, the weft, which goes up and down between the warp. So in a situation where part of the novel is real, I think of those threads. Let's say they're blue and they're at the warp. Among the factual blue strands, what I've done is sort of shuttle and weave together, say, the red strands of a fictionalized account. And if I've done it properly, when the cloth is woven, of course it's a purple piece of cloth, and you know, it's hard to separate out what's the blue threads and what are the red threads going in. So in much the same way, when I think about, say, Sing to the Dawn, it's become hard for me to sort of separate what is real and what is made up. It's all woven together.
What are some of the morals that you try to put into your novel, Sing to the Dawn?
Sing to the Dawn was my first novel, and as such, it was a rather didactic novel. What I think I was trying to get across was a sense of conviction that I had, and I still have, that girls and boys should have equal opportunity in things like education and later on in their life and jobs and so on.
Well, what can people learn from your story of Sing to the Dawn?
Well, I guess the easy thing would be to be nice to your sister. Because otherwise she might get you at the end.
I hope my little brother gets that one. Well, how do you feel about the success of Sing to the Dawn now that it's being made into a film?
Of course, I'm pleased that even after so many years, the story still has relevance and some resonance for people in the area, especially for children in the area. And it's the kind of situation where I'd like to feel that it'd be nice if it didn't need to be told again, but I think there are still very many areas in the world, maybe pockets in the world, where girls are still not looked upon in the same way as boys, not as favorably as boys. And I hope that with the success of the film, that it might help girls become more equal in their status to their brothers.
You've had many careers, including a journalist, an author, a college professor, and working with refugees. Which has been your favorite career and why?
Well, I've enjoyed all of them, but I think especially the journalist one, because every day there was something new to do, new assignments, and a sense of exploring the whole world before you, and then getting to write about it. In a way, it was very good training for my eventually writing stories on my own that weren't assigned to me.
How has speaking, reading, writing 3 different languages influenced you in your life?
I think it's sort of like having different layers of clothing around yourself. I think of Chinese, of Cantonese as the language of my heart, because that's the language that I had originally learned when I was young. And then I think of Thai as the language of my hands, because I learned Thai as I grew up and was in Thailand and learned the names of things that I could touch and that were tangible. And finally, I think of English as the language of my head, because that's very much, or at least that was very much an academic language, the language that was confined to the classroom, and that really was not that connected to the things that were around me that I could touch, and also was not very connected to the feelings that I was feeling in my heart.
Thank you so much, Min Fang, for taking your time out today to talk to us here at Shanghai American School and telling us about your experiences, your life, your writing. It's been a real joy having you at our school this week.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful for me to be in this school, especially because, as I think I may have mentioned, both my mother lived in Shanghai as a child, and my mother-in-law actually attended the Shanghai American School when she was a teenager for a few years. So I've grown up hearing about Shanghai and even hearing about the Shanghai American School. So for me to have the opportunity to actually come here and teach at the school and meet the students has been really wonderful for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam's Cast. Sam's Cast.
Sam's Cast.
Sam's Cast.
By the people, for the people. Sam's Cast.
Sam's Cast. Sam's Cast. Sam's Cast.
By the people, for the people.
Sam's Cast.